Welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be reviewing set 75444, Mandalorian and Grogu AT-RT, and a turret, which is not in the movie. I did go see it. I don't think many of you did due to its box office performance, but the set consists of 297 pieces. It retails for about $45, has two minifigures, well, two and a half, Grogu, the Mandalorian, and the AT-RT Imperial Remnant Gunner, or excuse me, driver, which is by far the main reason that I bought this set, and I'm kind of excited to see what he looks like. We'll do a quick review. Stick around because I'm going to compare this AT-RT to a few others that are out there. And I will also compare the Imperial Remnant driver to a character that I thought was very, very similar, and we can do a kind of stare and compare and contrast and see what you think. Thanks, and let's get into it. So here we have it. The box consists of 4 bags labeled 1 through 4. They feel a little meager to me. Not a lot of pieces inside each one, but that's okay. Sticker sheet consisting of some stickers, largely going to be used for the turret, 2 instruction manuals, and then finally some actual circular half turret pieces that we're going to be using here shortly. Bag 1 starts out with constructing the AT-RT. Here we see the seat that is completed at the end of bag 1. Lots of great use of the bracket piece, putting this together. Lots of tightly woven interconnectivity. Really enjoyed the build process. Not a fan of the stud shooters, but it is what it is. And with the completion of bag 2, the AT-RT is finished. It looks good. For what it is, a play scale AT-RT, it's absolutely fine. I like the dark bluish gray, and it does sit Mando and Grogu comfortably. Here you see bag 3 complete, basically the base of the turret. It does open with the use of some hinge plates at the bottom there. And then here you can see the finished turret at the conclusion of bag 4. Very basic, wasn't in the movie, so hard to compare it to what was seen on screen. I did like the build of the gun though. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you already have a Mandalorian minifig. This one, in my opinion, is moderately improved from some of the others. I especially like the leg print. You can see the hint of a boot there. But the bigger difference to me is actually the helmet. The sides are molded slightly differently, and you also have a nice print on the top of the helmet. Grogu is Grogu, same mold that we've had for quite some period of time. There are some new molds now with this new release of Mandalorian minifigs, but this one's old school. So one of the main reasons I wanted to get this set was because of this minifig right here, the Imperial Remnant driver for the AT-RT. I just really like this character. I think he looks cool. He's pretty basic, no extraneous detail. The arms aren't printed, etc. But I really like the way he looks. I think he's different enough from a lot of other minifigs from the Imperial Remnant. And I also liked his face. I thought that his face itself was great. He's got this smirk. It really kind of looks like a jerk and in line with the Empire. Now, when I bought this set and I was looking at this minifigure, he really reminded me of the Range Trooper from set 75217. This is in one of the Solo sets, the Imperial Convex transport. In hindsight, now that they're side by side, they don't obviously look that similar, but they kind of reminded me of one another. But I did think it was an opportunity here to talk about, what good looks like. I think that set came out, and I want to say 2018, 2019. And look at that Range Trooper. The helmet is scuffed up. He's got that fur mantle around. The gloves are a different color. Just absolutely exquisite in terms of design and the way it looks. And unfortunately, that Imperial Remnant driver looks pretty basic now on the left. That Range Trooper on the right now is going for roughly $70 in the US market. So here we can see the turret, pretty basic. It opens up. You can see the safe inside. That safe is actually used to store the control panel for the AT-RT. So when the Imperial Remnant driver is on it, you can take that out and put the control panel on. But when Grogu is riding it, that's where you store that panel so that Grogu has a spot to sit so that him and Mando can ride together. It's fully articulated. I mean, again, there's no door on it necessarily, but it rotates. The gun rotates, etc. There is an interesting piece usage here on these two handles for the gun, which, funny enough, just came out in 2023. It's never been used in a Star Wars set, except for one of those smart brick sets, which I've certainly never bought. So that was the first time I've seen that piece. It was kind of interesting as I was building it. I know some people get really wound up about the sticker color. When I was building it, I certainly noticed that the color's slightly off. I don't know what the issue is there, but I will say when it's fully built and it's kind of on display, I don't notice it as much. So I'm not going to get too wound up about it. So finally, we get to the AT-RT itself. Look, this is a good build for what it is for a PlayScale AT-RT. A couple of things that I'll kind of highlight that I really do like about it. One of them is the carburetors or the fuel injectors, whatever they are. I'm not an AT-RT mechanic, but they're kind of adding to that mystique that I feel like Mando has with the N1 Starfighter, that he kind of builds things and MacGyvers them up a little bit, for those of you that understand that reference. The legs are very customizable, so you can really move them in a variety of ways. And I did kind of like that because I feel like you could get the AT-RT in some different positions that sometimes for other variants of this that I've seen in the past are a little bit more difficult to come by and they don't stand as well, right? There's not as much stability in them. Now, I had mentioned a little bit earlier, you can see the piece there, the control panel, that can pop off, and you have that single stud there to place Grogu on if you have Mando on there. So if you want to kind of swap that on and off, you can do that. And of course, place that piece back in the bunker. So here we can see the final build of the AT-RT 75444. One of my pet peeves about it is the scale. It's too big. If we compare it to the legendary AT-RT from 75280, the 501st Clone Trooper Battle Pack, it's actually not that bad. This thing is ginormous. It is completely out of scale with really what an AT-RT should be. Now, I'm well aware in the LEGO world, minifigs aren't to scale. My head is not, the same size as my torso. Thank the Lord. But this is something that for me, when I'm displaying sets and I want to use them in dioramas, it really, really matters to me. And so I'm going to give this set a huge ding in terms of what I call that diorama readiness, because it's just not ready to go. Here's an example of, kind of what good looks like in my world. This is from the Clone Turbo Tank 8098. This set was built in 2010, released in 2010. I bought it used, and it comes with this AT-RT that's actually inside the tank. Looks very good, but lacking detail. Not a lot of detail, but size-wise, much, much closer to what an AT-RT should be. Eventually, I think I found the perfect, at least in my opinion, the perfect blend. And this is from the recent battle pack of the 327th. And this is a mod that I found coming out of that battle pack of the 327th by Brick Wizard Customs. And I think this is absolutely exquisite. Again, maybe it's a tiny, tiny bit larger than it should be, but man, this is so, so well done. He has a link on his site where he kind of literally just walks you through the build. I didn't buy instructions on Rebrickable, so I definitely want to give this guy a shout out. He did some amazing work here. And I used this mod very, very heavily. So as soon as I built all of my 327th battle packs for my Felucia mock, I modded every single AT-RT with this. I think he did such a good job finding that perfect blend between appropriate minifig scale and detail. Okay, so what's the final verdict here? What's the final review for this set? I kind of break things up into 5 different categories that I've talked about in the past. I talk about the want factor, the display and presence, the build experience, value, and finally what I call mockability, which really is a simple, fancy way maybe of saying, could I display this as is in a diorama? Okay, so just to kind of go through it relatively quick, because I think we've done a fair review here. As far as the want factor, the first category, I give this a 2. Not great, I kind of wanted it, and really it was only because of that Imperial Remnant driver. There was something about him that was interesting to me, and I kind of thought, you know what, I'll go ahead and spring for this set. So I made the decision to get it. Display and presence is the next category. Honestly, I only give this a 1. The turret I will never use it. It's not even in the movie. I have better turrets for my Hoth diorama. I'm just not impressed by it. And the AT-RT just doesn't have a whole lot to it. Wasn't a huge fan. The build experience, on the other hand, I actually quite enjoyed. I give it a 3 on the build experience scale. In particular, I thought the AT-RT was really fun to put together. I am realizing, though, that it's no doubt, looking at this, I'm a Lego addict. So build experience, I mean, I just enjoy building Lego. So I'll be very curious to see how many of my reviews in the future have a poor build experience, for example. Next one, value. I'm sorry, but this gets 1 star. This set was $45 for 297 pieces. Yes, you always pay a premium for Star Wars Lego sets. It just felt a little bit more on the expensive side than I would normally like. So 45 bucks, you're just not getting great value for money, in my opinion. And finally, kind of my 5th rating, this kind of strange one of mockability. Unfortunately, I give it a 1. And this goes back to what I walked you through previously around the size. This is simply too large to be used in a diorama. I'd never be able to use it as is. I would always have to cut it back, simplify it, take some detail out. And that's, when I think about my actual display and wanting to put stuff in there, that just does not fly and not something I enjoyed. So that's kind of where we landed. Gives this set a total score of 8 out of 20. Pretty miserable, quite honestly. So I can't say I recommend it. If you like the minifigs, of course, get the minifigs. Some of you might like, kind of the gearhead look of the AT-RT with the carburetors popping out. Absolutely fair. I'm just sharing kind of my opinion on where I think this one lands. So hope you enjoy. Now we'll go ahead and throw it in the display. I strive to have a theme for all of my shelves. So this particular shelf is kind of a combination of Mandalorian and Ahsoka. I found a slot here in the back after moving some pieces around. So we'll put the Mandalorian and Grogu AT-RT right there for the time being. I don't think it's going to have a long life on the shelf, to be brutally honest. But there it is. Congratulations, Mando. Another slot. I cannot say the same about the turret. This is going to be pieced apart and reused in other mocks. However, the Imperial driver is going to find a slot here. I recently purchased these 3D printed hexagons that are sort of a great way to put your minifigures and display them. They have these, nudges there where you can display the minifig without putting pressure on the feet. They also connect. So if you want to, you can connect numerous ones together and sort of build a honeycomb pattern out of them. But I really like these. I think they're a great way to highlight and display the minifigs, especially when you put more than a few together. So this gentleman will definitely be finding a slot on a wall within my office. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. We'll see you next time.